Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to get your business in gear. Do you feel that sometimes you're in the right industry, but you're not attracting the right clients? Well, let's figure it out intimately with Tammeron is a 1-hour show presenting you with simple and basic tips to help you create a more intimate, fulfilling business and personal life. Now, here's your host, Tammeron.
Welcome to this fun-filled, interactive, intimate hour with me, Tammeron. I've created this show to provide you, my listeners, with some of the top experts in the world who can help us all create more fun, passion, and intimacy back into our personal and professional lives. And after being an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old, raising my 2 kids, volunteering in my community, and privately educating myself through online courses, books, and self-development seminars, I realized that I have a huge range of knowledge to share with you. And as a motivational business speaker, my passion is to share my intimate stories, and it allows me to work authentically with other people in their business. And I also realized that I attract people just like me who are a divine mirror of my life. Entrepreneurs who are trying to find that healthy balance in their life. People who are visionaries, passionate, and highly sexual in nature. There are ups and downs to having all of this beautiful sexual energy that swirls around us. And we tend to be very creative, and we have a million ideas whipping around in our heads. We love challenges, and we want to work with other like-minded people and be successful. But sometimes there are issues that come up. Things like we attract many people who want to work with us or just hang with us. And how do we manage ourselves and our time more effectively? And how do we represent ourselves in business to show our true brand? And how do we work effectively with other entrepreneurs to create affiliates, joint ventures, or even equal partnerships? This seems to be a huge trend right now. And join me as I interview amazing guests, offer live business coaching, and give you an opportunity to hear what coaching is all about in business. Many entrepreneurs believe that their business is different than someone else's. And I agree with this statement. Yet I want everyone to understand that the reason why you are not successful in your business is because of how you think and feel about yourself. Your business as an entrepreneur is about whom you believe yourself to be. And using this as the core of your business, I can teach and help anyone how to make their business better. If you'd like to call in or ask questions, the number is always toll free at 1-888-346-9141. You can also email me at Tammeron@FigureItOutLive or hit the email host button here on my homepage on voiceamerica.com. For now, sit back and enjoy as we all learn how to become more intimate in your business to understand what is really going on and see this in every aspect of your life. And this includes your personal relationship that will become better too. So what a great way to live. Now, today, I have a different theme for my show. I'm calling this show today Alchemy in Business. And I'm going to follow up with what happened on my show last week, because last week I was talking about, some of the changes that I was going through and some of the patterns I was seeing around the people. And I was talking about a Bach flower remedy and the different emotional things that were coming up around the people. And after the show, I realized that a lot of the things that I was actually talking about were actually happening to me. And so I decided to mix that Bach flower remedy and take it myself. And lo and behold, a lot of things started changing in the next 2 days. So I'm going to review a little bit of what I talked about last week, just so I can give you guys a starting point. I'm going to share an article that I wrote, which continued on throughout the week last week and into actually early on this week. And then what actually came up for me emotionally and some of the things and the changes that I found that were happening and some of the things that I need to break through. So if you resonate with what I'm talking about, I think you'll really get it, what it is I'm going through, and some of the changes that we're seeing in a lot of society, a lot of things with people in business as well. There's a lot of people walking out of relationships. There's people just, deciding to quit their jobs, try something different. And there's a lot of fear involved with that too. So I hope that during the show today that you resonate with what that fear is actually all about, and I can help you move forward in your business and your personal life, just how I'm doing myself. So I'm going to be sharing some intimate stories again, because again, this really is what my show is about. So I love to share tarot cards again, and I really felt like I had to pull two for the show. I love it when people give me some feedback afterwards and tell me that, it was bang on for them as well. And this card really rings true for me today. So it seems like maybe this month the show is really all about me. So isn't that interesting? So again, this card is from T. Harv Eker, and it says, "Commit to being rich." And it says here, commitment means to devote oneself unreservedly. And once you commit to being rich, the universe will assist you, guide you, support you, and even create miracles for you. So yeah, I guess it's, being committed to really finding what it is that you're meant to do, finding your purpose, the reason why you want to make a lot of money, what's going to do, how is it going to enhance your life, and also is it going to enhance anybody else's life as well. So it's not necessarily, what we want to do with the money. I've personally had a lot of money in my life at times. I've had ups and downs, just like a lot of people that I know as well. And it's very interesting what we choose to do with our money when we actually have enough. So when we have enough, when the bills are paid and, you've gone on a trip and you've got a few nice things in your house and you sit back and you go, okay, what's next? When you've got things established in your life, you've got extra money sitting there. So what do you choose to do with it? And it's very important. And so the next card that I pulled as well, it's just a bunch of loose little cards that someone sent me and said, thought you'd love it. So I decided to pull one of those as well, and it says here, we define each moment by what we choose to care about. And I thought that's very, very true. So again, what do we choose to do with our money? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today and what I'm going through in my personal life. Okay. So again, today's show is called Alchemy in Business. And again, what I'm going to be sharing today is basically what I go through in my life. And these are the stories that I share with people when people come to me for a consultation. A lot of times people come to me with a problem when I realize that it's the root issue that they're not seeing. And so today I'm going to be talking about some of those root issues and how I deal with it. So if you do feel compelled to connect with me, again, I'll honor that 10% discount on any of my business or my relationship workshops or private one-on-one consultations. So remember to go to tammeronsplace.com and go to the workshop page on my website, and you can find out more information there. And there's also a free 15-minute consultation call if you do want to speak to me directly before you decide to sign up for anything. So again, that's on the website, tammeronsplace.com. Okay, so I'm going to just share my article that I wrote. Again, this is true. It's about what happened with me this week since I started taking that remedy and what's been going on in my life. And I actually called the article Alchemy is True Leadership. So alchemy is the power or process of turning something ordinary into something special. It's all about transformation and enabling change. And change is important. As Darwin once said in The Origin of Species, it's not the strongest of the species that survive or the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And this quote by Darwin is one of my all-time favorites. And I'm being reminded right now of the huge changes that are happening in my personal and my business life. Recently, I've created a business partnership to open a business with a female partner. I have to say, it seemed like a whirlwind. Everything just fell into place as we threw together ideas and pretty much agreed on everything. I have joked with my partner a few times that it felt like I was in a dating relationship when we chatted on the phone that very first time. And later we got together over a cup of tea, continued to meet regularly to chat, and then before you know it, we had ideas written down on paper. We decided what we would go on a trial period to work together, and then we would decide if we wanted to move forward or not. We agreed that we would put in equal amounts of money and time into the small business and to continue discussing anything and everything that came up. So far, it has been pretty darn good, but I have to say now I feel like I'm at the point where we have bigger decisions to make, like hiring potential employees and deciding on a more organized business plan. And last night, I woke up a few times during the night and I started having a few anxiety attacks. I took the time to evaluate what was really coming up for me, and I felt fearful about the partnership because I felt like there were some things that I had control over, while others I did not when it came to working with my partner. And I realized that when it involved someone else, I felt that my control over the decisions, the changes, and other tasks in the partnership were slipping from my grasp. I felt a huge sense of uneasiness and a big churning sensation in my stomach. It's like chugging your way to the top of the roller coaster. And as you're just about to crest at the very edge, you realize you don't know what's going to happen next. I feel like I want to scream in that moment of not knowing what is next. How will I feel? Will I be scared out of my wits coming down the track while bursting forward at full speed ahead? In that defined moment of my waking life, I decided I have to go forward without knowing what was ahead. I have this gut feeling that it will be amazing and bountiful, and I have to trust it. And I haven't had this feeling before in a business relationship or a personal relationship, so I'm living on faith and in the moment. And it feels like alchemy. It feels like I've taken all the knowledge, the turmoil, and the lessons of my past experiences in business, including dating and a difficult marriage, and I'm mixing it all together to create magic. I can't explain it any other way. The fear of the unknown actually feels incredible for the very first time in my life. I gave myself permission to feel it like never before, and I'm ready to go. So this is an article that I just wrote yesterday. So again, it's amazing the emotions that are coming up for me. And this actually did occur in my sleep. A couple of nights ago, I was waking up and just feeling like I just wanted to puke. It was just like this churning sensation in my stomach and not knowing what it was. So the next day when I sat down and I was going through my business plan and I was going through some of the things and deciding what to write in my journal, I was just allowing these feelings to come up. And I realized it was really that fear of the unknown, of not knowing, but sometimes your gut feeling is so strong that you know to go ahead. There's not a negative like, oh no, I don't think this is right. What am I doing? I need to change it, but afraid to say anything. This time it's very, very different for me. And that trust of knowing that everything is going to work out. So in this moment of deciding what was happening for me, I realized that after taking this remedy that I talked about last week, the Bach flower remedy, that I had unveiled something. And what was coming up underneath the root cause was the fear of the unknown, because there's two types of fear. There's the fear of the known and there's the fear of the unknown. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I have done this on other shows, but again, this is exactly what I'm going through. So I'm going to talk about the remedies that I felt like I'll be adding next. So this is what I'm actually going to be mixing for myself, and we'll see what happens with me next week. But when we come back for this first break that I'm going to take now, I'm going to review the remedy that I took last week so you guys can follow the storyline and see what actually is coming up now and what I'm going to choose to do about it. Okay? So I just want to remind you, this is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Have you ever noticed that sometimes life just feels easier, especially when judgment of you or anyone else ceases to exist? What if you could function from that space all the time? What if gratitude is the key? Every time you are grateful for someone or something, a new universe opens up. What difference can you create in your life and the world from the energy, space, and consciousness of gratitude? Join us on Access Consciousness Presents Beyond Saying Thank You every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So, again, the title of my show today is called Alchemy in Business, and I just shared a article that I wrote this week about how alchemy is true leadership. So how we can make huge changes in our life and learn from it and pass that knowledge down to others. So I'm sharing exactly what I went through this past week based on some information that I shared last week, and felt that after that show that some of the information I was sharing was exactly what I was going through. So I decided to mix up a Bach flower remedy, which I was talking about, and the results were amazing. So I'm going to just very quickly review. On last week's show, I talked about 3 different things. I talked about a remedy called honeysuckle, which really people take this remedy so that when you can really let go of the past, because when you're in what they call a honeysuckle state, it means like, you wish your life was the way it was before, or you're always reflecting on things of the past and you can't move forward. Another piece of the remedy, a second part of the remedy, was called walnut, and the remedy of walnut is people take that when you need to move forward and you need to break the link. So they call it the break linker. So we'll take the honeysuckle to really let go of the past. And then the walnut remedy actually breaks that path. It breaks the emotional link of the past and helps you move forward. But also in that breaking, you're protected. So there's nothing negative about it. It's almost like you're letting go of negativity and moving into a higher vibration, a higher realm, and you're very protected. So you think of a walnut shell, how strong that shell is. And then the third thing I talked about was a Star of Bethlehem remedy. That's a powerful, powerful remedy. One of my favorites. I just love it. And that's really the remedy of rebirth. So very powerful to take it. So like I said, I decided, I'm going to mix it myself, because I believe I am a true scientist, and, I'll eat my own cooking. And the one thing I love about Bach flower remedies is you could be on medication. There are no side effects. You could be taking homeopathy, you can be taking herbs, you can be doing just about anything, and you can be adding what I call these Bach flower remedies along with anything you're doing, and there is no side effects. It does not alter anything. So I love them myself. I use them on my family, many of my friends, and again, it is included with a 90-minute consultation with me. It's not extra. If you choose to have me mix you a remedy, or I can suggest for you to go and buy it, you can go out and mix it yourself. They are available in a lot of the parts of the world. It's there as part of a 90-minute consultation. So this is exactly what I took. So you can imagine if I took something that was letting go of the past, because here I am talking about, I've started up this new business and I really feel it's a powerful business, even though it's very small. We're running it on the weekends. It's just an organic juice bar here. It's taking up a little bit more time than we thought, but again, we both felt it was going to lead to something powerful. And so we're trusting our instincts. So I've let go of the past. I'm able to move forward with protection, and my life is going through a new phase. So again, I felt amazing, and a lot of things had come up for me in the next couple of days, and then it really, really came on strong early in this week, where I was waking up with almost having a nightmare. And having to really sit with that and to really go into that dream and to understand what was happening. And I actually felt sick in the dream. Like I literally woke up thinking, I felt like I was on a roller coaster. I felt like I was right at the very top. And, I just felt sick to my stomach because I didn't know what was next. You don't know if you're going to be safe or whatever. It's that euphoric feeling. So I had to sit and think about it. So what really is going on? And when you start to study Bach flower remedies, you start talking about the different types of fear. And like I said earlier in the show, what I realized is that, we can be fearful about not knowing what's next. And it's unexplainable. But I realized that there was something else that was coming up. And it wasn't so much the fear of just not knowing. It was almost that... it's more of a trust issue. So really trying to figure out, what to trust. And I realized that's what it was for me. So I, of course, decided to, figure out what remedy would be perfect for this. And it's the remedy of cherry plum. So I'm going to share this with you again today, because this is so fascinating, because we're seeing the different emotional layers that I'm going through and how I can move forward in a very grounded way. So anybody who needs the remedy of cherry plum, this is the description. It says, the capacity to live here and now, trusting in life, tranquility, openness, relaxation, openness to one's own evolutionary process, being yourself, and harmony between positive and negative polarities within the self. So it's indicated for persons who are afraid of losing control of themselves, just I talked about on that roller coaster, that sense of losing control, and committing some horrible action from one moment to the next. Such individuals perceive the destructive forces that exist in each of us and are afraid of them, and unable to understand that every process of development, whether it's mental or spiritual, is based on the seesaw of opposites and the balance between positive and negative forces. They perceive the pull of negative forces with the enormous sensibility, and instead of mastering it, they succumb to it. So to keep from committing an error, they become maniacal perfectionists, always precise for fear of making mistakes or for not being normal. They may fixate on things or create obsessions for themselves to the point of psychosis. And as children, they exhibit repetitive behaviors leading to the self-isolation and even autism, often pacing back and forth, clapping their hands, or slamming the door. And they don't listen, or they do not listen to what their parents say, yet they manage to control themselves and can be perfect children. In their rooms, everything is put away in its proper place, folded in entirety in order. Suddenly, however, they can have violent reactions of rage and find themselves unable to control a situation. Okay, so in some parts of that description, it was very extreme, but again, when you're taking something like this, you got to find out where you're at. So there's parts of this where I didn't feel so extreme, But in my dream, that's how extreme it felt to me. It was just that, oh my God, I don't know what's next. And even though everything appears to be in order and stuff, it was that, feeling like I can't control it. So when you take this remedy, what that does is it balances you out so that, like I talked about in the beginning, there are the qualities that'll bring back, that sense of relaxation, that sense of that openness to your own process. Okay, so I'm going to be mixing this in a remedy bottle for myself today, and there was also a couple of other remedies that I felt were necessary as well. So this was what was coming up. But also, what I realized was that I needed to stay grounded, because what I've known from the past through my own learning and working with many, many people, hundreds of people, when fear kicks in, we tend to literally snap out of ourselves and we start worrying about things that aren't real. So that fear starts to kick in. So in our mind, we lose it. And when you can stay grounded, people have always told me I'm very, very grounded, but I can sense when I feel like I might be losing it. And so the remedy of clematis is very, very powerful to keep yourself grounded. So I'm going to share this one as well, because this is also what I'm going to be mixing. I'm going to be mixing 3 remedies into the bottle for myself today. So the remedy of clematis is, it says here, it keeps you grounded in life. It keeps your creative idealism fulfilled, concrete in actualization, anchored in the present, so I'm not going to get distracted, harmony in life of the present, and expression of one's perception in the material world, so that I can really make sure that, I'm saying what I need to say, so no fears get in the way. Just like I talked about in the article, it's like I don't have a fear of saying what I need to say, because I've had those fears in the past, and those fears held me back in life. Okay, so no more. So this is indicated for those who seem to live another life, in another world built exclusively for them, a world of dream and imagination where everything seems beautiful and good. And such people may talk with you, yet seem to be elsewhere, thinking of something else. They cannot seem to muster up much interest for what is happening in the present. They create illusions to such a point that the world appears to them to move along the lines of their fantastic constructions. Their memory is often poor, and their visual and auditory perceptions are capable of creating unreal sounds and images, while they react indifferently to events in the real world. Clematis people may have great intuitions, but these will remain relegated to the world of imagination without ever being translated into a reality. So this may be so distracted and to seem so clumsy they frequently trip, bump into things, and knock things over. In a restaurant, they are apt to bump carelessly into the waiter, knocking the tray of plates out of his hand. And clematis children have their heads in the clouds. While the teacher is explaining the subject at hand, they are watching the butterflies outside, creating imaginary beings out of pieces of paper. They seem to not hear or be able to focus on the words written up on the blackboard. Okay, so again, this is an extreme situation. They're talking about some people that, when I read this, I think about so many people I know that literally they're in it's like people who are in la la land. Like they're there with you physically, but they're not there emotionally and mentally, because they're always in this fictional world. And, it's hard for them to find their reality and to really do what they need to do. And so because I'm an entrepreneur and I have a lot of things, I have a lot of goals and things that I want to accomplish, there's always time for play, there's always time for fun, but when it's work, I want to make sure that I can do what I need to do. So I felt like I needed to take this clematis as well. And so when you combine clematis, it will stop you from wanting to run. So when things, feel like they're out of control, a lot of times what people will do, they'll just steer the other way and go, oh no, I just don't know what's coming. I just don't have, I have this good feeling, but I need to know. And a lot of people need to know what's next in life. And if they don't know what's going to happen, then they don't do it. And so that's a lot of reasons why people never really go beyond their means, because of this fear of, that unknown. So I wanted to make sure that when I put this in the remedy, that I would stay grounded and I could really honor that sense of trust that I needed to find in this business partnership. Okay. So there's one more remedy I stuck in there. So after this break, I'm going to share that with you. And then I've got some information I'm going to continue on with from the book, The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman, which I briefly talked about last week, but it kind of really pulls back into this whole theme of, really being on purpose in my business, and for a lot of other entrepreneurs out there as well. So I'm going to share that with you again today. So just want to remind you, this is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So remember to come back after the break.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on Voice America. So I just wanted to remind you guys that, what I'm talking about today is really how I would be talking to someone in a consultation who is going through a lot of emotional ups and downs. It's one of my favorite topics. I know that people come to me with stories, and it's very easy for me to realize what the root of what their problem actually is, because I believe it's emotional. It's my favorite thing to, share with people, and I do share my own stories. So this is exactly how, the discussion will go. When people tell me stuff, I can relate and I can share a similar story, but it's going to have that same root issue. So in business, when you're going through changes, you've got to take some of that knowledge, the ups and downs in life, and to turn it into something that's beautiful. And that's really what alchemy really is when you can look at the pieces of your life and you can pick through all this stuff and you can go, okay, I can take some of those lessons, I can take some of the knowledge, and I can use it to create something amazing. Use those skills, use some of the things you've learned about yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, balance out some of those weaknesses. This partnership that I have, we completely balance out each other's strengths and weaknesses. So it's been awesome. And again, it's a lot of communication. I honestly believe no matter what relationship you're in, whether it's your personal relationship, your relationship with your kids, business partners, staff, customers, you got to talk. You got to talk to people. And if you're not talking and communicating about what you really need, and how you can serve others, you're not going to be that successful. It's just what I feel is the bottom line. So it's very powerful. And I still have a lot to learn too, but I'm always willing to do so. So again, if you do feel that there's something you'd like to share with me, I will honor that 10% discount just from finding out that you listen to this show. So remember to go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, and check it out. And I also offer a free 15-minute consultation call so we can find out if it will actually be a win-win to actually work together. Okay? So I was talking about some of the Bach flower remedies that I felt that I need right now. And in fact, I'm going to be whipping up this bottle of Bach flower remedies tonight, and we'll see what happens. So I was feeling this really sense of hesitation, this unexplainable fear that was coming up for me after taking the remedy next week. And I realized it was the fear of, not knowing what was next. But also, it was like I had to learn how to trust what was going to happen next, because my gut is like, I don't know what's happening, but it feels like it's a good move. And a lot of times our intuition's telling us that something may not be good, or to get out, or this isn't a good decision. And that's what I say to people. Always trust that, because that's stronger than anything, especially when people are telling you something differently. But this is a different type of intuition where it feels so good and yet you don't know why. And so we can't always have the answers. So for me, having to have that trust. So I needed to have more trust, which was the remedy of cherry plum that I'm going to take. Clematis to keep me grounded, so that, that fear of the unknown isn't going to make me want to run or steer in another direction or just give in, because this is usually when a lot of people give in at this point. Okay, so it's very, very powerful to keep going and see what happens. So the last thing I wanted to add to the remedy, where I felt like I needed something else in there, was a remedy called wild oat. And wild oat is really important for people who really need to find a vocation. And I've given this remedy actually to a lot of people as well. And sometimes within days or weeks, a job just magically appears, or they feel like they're falling into something more suitable for them in a big way. They feel a lot happier. And it's very scary for people who are making changes in their business or wanting to be entrepreneurs. And, they know that they can't stay in the business or the job that they're in, or maybe that job is being dissolved, with all the cutbacks and everything. So it's a question, what do I do? And a lot of times we don't actually see our own strengths and our gifts. So this is a beautiful remedy to add, when you're in that moment of unknown, because sometimes when our life is changing, we do have to steer our career into a different direction. So this remedy of wild oat, the qualities it brings out is the clarity of decision. It brings out determination, work resulting in tangible results, perseverance, vocation, lucidity, some self-confidence, and some rootedness. And this is indicated for those who are forever searching for something or someone else, or even themselves. They feel as though they are standing at a crossroads trying to decide which way to take. And none of their many ambitions is ever completely fulfilled. So they stop halfway or 3/4 through, and that's it. Creative as well as ambitious, they have mutable characters and push themselves to carry out an enormous number of projects. They may change jobs twice a year and don't seem to quite understand their own attitudes or where they should settle. They can be cerebral wanderers. In a kind of mental puberty, their brains continue to focus on what they need or what they might need, and they seem to lack an interior guide, a beacon by which to orient themselves. And they throw themselves into thousands of things, then they never finish one. So children who respond to Wild Oat are discontent and dissatisfied since they never manage to bring their undertakings to any conclusion. They take hours to finish a theme or a math problem and will work hard on the rough work of carving a toy boat from a piece of wood only to set it down and abandon the project. Now, how many of us have done that? Because for me, that was a lot of me in the past. A million things on the go. And so I had to learn to stop creating things. I'm very creative, so I do have a lot of things on the go all the time. But I had to tell myself I'm not going to take on something new until I finish what I've done. So, I do have little piles of things that, I will choose to do when I have time, but nowhere near like I used to be in the past, where things just never got completed. And that happens for a lot of people who are just very highly creative, when we just need that stimulation all the time. So this is going to be the remedy that I'm going to be adding to my bottle. So again, I'm going to review. I've got cherry plum, I've got clematis, and I've got this Wild Oat. So in that, I'm going to have more trust. I'm going to stay grounded, and hopefully, what it is that I'm working with is going to really come to fruition and allow me to complete it without wandering away. So that's going to be the next phase for me. I'm going to take it tonight, and we'll see what happens next week and see if anything else comes up. But I have a funny feeling this is going to be like smooth sailing for me. So I love it. And again, a lot of the information I do share about Bach flower remedies, I do have different books that I use. Again, I studied 3 levels of this through the Edward Bach School of Education. And this information that I'm sharing with you guys today, the brief description is actually from a book called Bach Flower Massage. And I like it because you can actually add the Bach flower remedies to massage oils, and you can actually put them into different areas of the body, different points, by adding the essences. And it can go right into that part of the body that's connected to the imbalance. So I find this very fascinating work. But I love the information in here because it's very straightforward. So that's where I shared it with you guys today. So what I'm going to talk about now is to end the show is, again, I love this book. It is on my website on the online store. It's called The Life You Were Born to Live, and it's the Guide to Finding Your Life Purpose, written by Dan Millman. And this is a book about numerology. So for a lot of people, people really feel like they want to be living their passion. They want to be living their purpose. They feel more authentic and real. They're not living in a fake world. This is a wonderful book, and I've sold lots of copies of this when I did have my store open, the retail store where we had the food. We had a lot of great books available, and so this is available on my website under tammeronsplace.com, so check it out. So I'm going to share with you guys mine, because if you're following my story and following me, this is going to make sense. So when you're using tools, like I say, tools in your toolbox, remedies, getting a massage, eating well, getting exercise or whatever, you're going to feel better, and you'll be able to adapt to the changes that are in your life. And so for me, the number, it's based on numerology, so a number. So it's my number for my life. My life purpose is a 26-8. So they talk about that in the book here. And it says when I'm working in the positive and when I'm working in the negative, and then also it talks about talents, works, and finances. So I talked about the positive last week and negative, so I might share that after the next break. But I've got time to share with you right now where it talks about my talents, work, and finances. So it says here, for me, when working in the positive, due to my high standards and my drive for recognition and success, I can do almost anything well and tend to rise above the crowd because I work hard and I strive hard to improve myself. Yet I rarely feel like I'm performing as well as I could, and I need to feel appreciated for my work, and I tend to strive for high income. And due to my high ideals, I sometimes have a hard time finding work that feels meaningful enough. That key word is enough. So driven toward yet afraid of high profile and recognition, I tend to be a late bloomer until finally I come to value myself and the quality of my work, emerging as a positive influence to others. So again, that really resonates with me. That constant push is to really find it, and to really feel valued for what it is that I'm doing. And that just kind of links up with the card that I pulled, and I shared that with you at the beginning of the show, where it says here, we define each moment by what we choose to care about. So for me, I really value my work, and my work is really about what I'm passionate about serving others and helping other entrepreneurs as well. So that definitely does ring true. So I'm going to take my last break, and when I get back, I'm going to share again some of the positive and the negative things, so you can understand that you do have the negatives to being so so goal oriented, because we can tend to get out of balance. Okay, so just want to remind you, this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after this last break.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
When you make decisions, do you ever find yourself in doubt? Are you trying to figure out what's right with you? Are you ready to truly change your life? Listen for the Access Consciousness radio show with the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Heer. Consciousness is all about including everything and judging nothing. Our program will help you break free from your personal limitations and enhance positive change in all areas of your life. Tune in to Access Consciousness, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is the last part of my show today where I'm talking about alchemy in business. And, when you can take some of your lessons and your teachings and you can transform it into being a leader, into helping other people so that, maybe they don't have to go through it as long as you. That's powerful. Some of my biggest teachings in my life took me years to overcome, a lot of years. Some things are quicker, but I did find that as I chose to really dive into the work of self-development, that I can see things a lot quicker and I can move out of them a lot faster because we're human. And I used to always make this assumption that people who did this kind of work were perfect and that everything was easy for them. And once I realized that no, they're not, they're human, that they have their ups and downs, but they know how to move out of things faster. And I realized, so, there's no such thing as perfection. And so that allowed me to feel on that same level as other people. So again, it was a fairy tale image. It was this disbelief that I felt like there was people ahead of me that, didn't have any problems. So it was very powerful for me to realize that. And so that's why I love to share my work with a lot of people, especially here on the radio, is to know that you're not alone. And, I'm willing to be vulnerable enough to say, look, this is what I'm going through. And yes, it's scary and stuff, but we're all learning and we're all learning together. And it's very, very powerful to do that. So again, if you do want to find out more information about Bach flower remedies, and not that I give people Bach flower remedies all the time, but I just feel like right now a lot of people are going through a lot. And so I'm sharing a lot of my own stories, whether I'm writing or people are talking to me or with personal friends as well. So go to my website, tammeronsplace.com. Again, check it out. If there's anything you feel that I can help you with, I will honor a 10% discount, just knowing that you were a listener of the radio show, whether you email me through clicking the host page button or you email me at tammeron@figureoutlive.com. It all comes into the same place. Okay, so I will definitely honor that. So I was talking about the book, again, The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman, The Guide to Finding Your Life Purpose. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're really trying to tweak your business or to really move out of something different or find something new, just like what I'm going through right now, books like this are really, really powerful. They're a lot of fun. Again, it's one of my Bibles. I don't read it all the time, but every once in a while I'll pick it up every year or 2 years and go, wow, yeah, I got to remind myself of that. So I'm going to talk about my personality here just in a paragraph for what it is when I'm in the positive and for what I'm in the negative. And you'll see why I needed that remedy. Okay, what I'm going to be taking in my remedy right now, because it does link. It says here, with my high standards and vision, I make good money doing what I enjoy, serving other people. Because for me, it is about teaching, and it's about teaching what it is about myself. I feel a sense of balanced inner power in my relationships, my work, and in my life. And out of a sense of expansive abundance, I can hold on or let go as appropriate without the need to manipulate or control others. I maintain the sense of fairness and integrity and serve as a positive and uplifting influence in the world, using my power and position to help others, perhaps through philanthropy. I hold money and recognition in perspective, focusing on a higher purpose. So again, it's like what I choose, the way I choose to help people. But this is when I can get out of balance. So this is my negative. It says here, I can be an unassertive individual. I feel timid. I feel invisible and ignored. And I have had my moments of like that too. Deeply frustrated in my own endeavors. They can resent rich people due to their own negative beliefs about money. We find it difficult to get along with others or to form relationships and get into power struggles unless the lines of authority are clearly defined. Over-controlling perfectionists, critical of others, especially those who don't show respect. We undervalue ourselves and our work, judging ourselves against unrealistically high standards, and we refrain from taking on any challenges in the material world. We not only avoid the fast lane, but we don't even get on the highway. Okay, so this is an imbalance, and I'm going to share about 10, 15, or maybe longer, maybe about 12 years ago, that's exactly where I was at. I just didn't understand why I was going through huge changes in my life, and I felt invisible and I felt ignored, and I was really angry how the people around me were so successful, and I felt like I was putting in the same time, the safe efforts, and why were they getting what I was wanting? And I realized for me, I wasn't communicating my frustrations. I wasn't speaking openly. I was holding things in. And so this resentment really manifested for me. And I lost respect for myself, and I lost respect for the people around me. So like I said, that was probably one of my huge lessons, where it took me a good 10 years to really work through that stuff. But when I did, it was amazing. And I just found that I can really understand people when they're going through huge changes like that. If you do choose to work through it and find where it is that you need to find your strength again, you'll change your life, and you'll have the ability to change other people's lives too, because people are going to want to know what you did. And that's really is the beauty of, sharing how you got through things, because there's huge changes going on in the world right now, huge changes. So a lot of people come to me for advice. And like I'm sharing today, one of the things I like to use is to read. I like to listen to other people. And I like to use things that are in the natural remedy realm, eating well, exercising, getting out in nature, using the Bach flower remedies, and just natural things that actually bring my body right back into balance. Because when I'm out of balance, it's because emotionally I'm out of balance. And I honestly believe that's the root of everything. So when we can figure out what's going on there, then the physical world changes, because the physical world is the final stage. And that's how I was always taught. And so that's what I believe, because it actually worked for me. All right, so I'm pretty much at the end of my show. So again, I just want to share where I got some of the information from in these last couple of minutes. I talked today how I'm going to make myself the remedy that's comprised of cherry plum, clematis, and wild oats. So let's see what happens when I take this remedy, mix it up tonight. Again, these remedies are just added to water. So, you take them 4 times a day, 6 times a day. There's just 4 little drops. You put in a glass of water, and actually the more diluted of a remedy you mix up, the more effective it is, because our bodies are made up of around 80% water. So when we mix them in water, it gets absorbed right down to our cellular level and works emotionally. So I usually feel things within 4 hours already making a difference, and then it spreads. So I did get that information about the Bach flower remedies that I shared with you today from Bach Flower Massage. This book was written by Danielle Lorito, and the information that I shared about my life purpose, again, was from Dan Millman's book, The Life You Were Born to Live, which is a guide to finding your life's purpose. All right, so I'm pretty much going to close the show. I really want to thank you guys for taking the time out to spend it with me. I hope you've resonated with me in some way, or feel compelled to listen again to the recorded version, or share this show with your friends. And always remember that my life is the same as yours. I'm not perfect, but I just love to share my stories of challenges. And I genuinely want us all to become successful so we can live happier and more fulfilling lifestyles. It requires some courage, some communication, and most of all, some fun. And no matter what we need or feel we need, I believe it can be accomplished in a comfortable, relaxing, and a safe place, just like right here. So remember to come back next week for another great show with me, Tammeron, on Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So cheers for now.
Thank you again for listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. Please join Tammeron again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Let's figure it out intimately. Again.